Tonight carries a quiet brand of magic, the kind that brushes your skin like warm breath and makes the room feel one size larger than your body. You didn't arrive here by accident. The path widened just enough for your feet, and you took it. The title said you've been marked, and I believe that means chosen for clarity, not fear. Before we open the cards, settle your spirit beside mine. We'll keep the tone gentle, the honesty bright. We'll begin with presence, then walk into the messages waiting with your name on them. Come close. Let's begin. Card 1, 5 of Pentacles. The cold you felt wasn't punishment. It was the pause before a warm door opened. There are seasons where the air around your life turns thin, and even simple tasks feel like climbing stairs with old knees. You remember those days. The fridge light looked tired, the phone stayed quiet, and your pillow knew more prayers than your journal. It is easy to call that season failure, to stamp it with shame and tuck it away. But the 5 of Pentacles asks for a softer name, a wintering, a holy pause, a clearing for the next harvest. Not a verdict, just weather passing through the soul's small town. The door was not gone, it was being built. In the quiet of that season, your senses sharpened in unexpected ways. You learned the sound of coins, the weight of bills, the taste of cheap tea that still felt like a feast with the right memory. You learned which friendships survived when the party stopped, which voices became blankets, which rooms were warmer than their walls. This is not romanticizing lack. This is harvesting wisdom from it. The card doesn't glamorize hardship. It honors the strength that rose without applause. You lasted. You listened. You learned where the draft was coming from, and that changes a house. Hardship trims the stories we tell about ourselves. All the shiny labels peel, and what remains is the simple shape of a human being who still wants to love and be loved. In that shape, you touch truth. I am not my bank balance. I am not my last mistake. I am not my darkest month. The soul breathes again when those sentences settle. From that breath, a different kind of planning begins. Not panic plans, but patient ones. The kind that asks, what would make today 2 degrees warmer? And does just that. 1 blanket, 1 bill, 1 call. There's a detail on this card many miss. The stained glass window just beyond the snow. It doesn't chase the travelers. It waits, glowing. That's how grace behaves in real life too. It doesn't yank you off the sidewalk. It spills light on options and lets dignity walk toward them. Perhaps your warm door is a neighbor's table, a community pantry, a second-hand coat that fits, an email you've delayed sending. Pride says, not me, but warmth says, try. Let the light catch you the way dawn catches a roofline. Quiet, certain, ordinary, enough. Pain has a way of making us think the world is smaller than it is. But even on the thinnest days, life was bigger than your fear. The kettle still sang. The sky still changed colors on schedule. Your breath kept returning without an invoice. That doesn't pay rent, but it steadies hands. And steady hands can tie shoes, make calls, sign up, show up, say yes. Which is how winter ends, not with trumpets, but with one small door swinging inward, smelling faintly of cinnamon and soap. You step in, shoulders drop, someone nods. We've been expecting you. Help is closer than pride admits, and your next step begins with a softer yes. Pride protects us until it starts to isolate us. It says, I'll fix it myself, even while the hands shake a little pouring tea. The 5 of Pentacles puts a mittened hand on that pride and whispers, let's loosen. not lose. Receiving help is not a collapse of character. It's cooperation with kindness already on its way. Many of us were raised to be needed, not to need. Tonight, we practice the other half of love. We let someone else's gift have somewhere to land. Here's the invisible math this card teaches. Asking early costs less than asking late. A small yes today saves 3 heavy no's next month. You don't have to broadcast your ache. You can choose one safe person, one simple sentence, one concrete request. Could you bring soup? Counts. Can we look at my budget together? Counts. Would you sit with me while I make this call? Counts. Need is not a performance. It's a doorway that opens faster from the inside. A whispered yes is still a yes. Community doesn't have to be a crowd. Sometimes it's a single neighbor who overcooks, a cousin who over-explains forms, a friend who laughs in decimals and reminds your body how to breathe. Your yes gives them a job their heart wanted. Helping you may be the holiest part of their week. Refusing help often robs 2 people, the one who needed and the one who longed to give. Let that thought soften the corners of your mouth. Maybe answer that text. Maybe send one first. There is a practical side to softness. The moment you say yes, options multiply. Payment plans appear, counselors return calls, a used appliance finds you, a side hustle idea pushes its shoulder through the door. This isn't magic, it's attention. The world tends to respond to the energy we radiate, and willing is a frequency the universe hears clearly. Willingness attracts paths that proving repels. Willingness says, I choose learning over image, and the future nods. Good, I can work with that. Let's not skip the awkwardness. Receiving can feel like standing under bright lights in thrift store clothes. But awkward is temporary, and warmth is useful. Awkward you can laugh about later, useful you can build on now. Between the two, choose useful. And if your cheeks burn, bless them. It means your body still knows how to move blood toward the places that need it most. One soft yes at a time, the room changes temperature. You'll notice the thermostat by how your shoulders finally lower. Scarcity taught you to count losses. Now learn to count what stayed with you. Long scarcity rewires attention. It trains the eyes to scan for missing pieces. The zero in the account, the empty chair, the appointment that didn't turn into relief. Useful for a while, but the skill calcifies and steals colour from the canvas. The 5 of Pentacles proposes a second arithmetic. Tally what remained. What stayed when the wind rattled your roof? Which habits held? Which graces kept showing up without clocking out? Counting these doesn't deny the lack. It dilutes its authority. Consider the little loyalties, the kettle that kept working, the cheap pen that never leaked, the neighbour who always waved, the joke you tell yourself when the lift stops between floors. These are not small, they are survival threads, proof that reality never went all in on your despair. Gratitude is not a moral pose. It's a lens that lets you see the exits in a smoky room. And exiting despair requires being able to spot a doorknob. Inventory what the winter refined rather than removed. Maybe you became more exact with language, fewer apologies, clearer asks. Maybe you stopped buying friends with favors. Maybe you discovered that simple food eaten slowly can taste like a holiday. These are not consolation prizes, they are muscles. Muscles you'll need for the next chapter, where abundance insists on stewardship, not spectacle. Scarcity sharpened you. Now use that edge to carve a wiser life. There is a relief in remembering that you did not, in fact, lose everything. There were days when laughter still snuck under the door like a warm draft. There were mornings your body rose even when your mind sulked. Persistence is a kind of wealth the world doesn't always clap for. But your bones know, and bones vote in a different parliament than algorithms. Let your bones speak. We kept you here. We'll keep you moving. You didn't lose your worth. You lost your way back to where it lives. Value gets noisy in public. It wears price tags, titles, applause. In quiet rooms, value is simpler. The way your presence calms a kitchen, the way a child relaxes when you enter, the way plants seem to like the sound of your voice. The 5 of Pentacles suggests your worth never left the house. Only your directions did. Tonight, we redraw the map, not to the market, but to the mirror. Not to likes, but to likeness. You belong to yourself before you belong to any ledger. Your worth is older than your resume. It predates your first good grade, your first bad mistake, your first bill with your name on it. Worth in this sense is not earned, it's remembered. The winter of scarcity fogged that memory, misted the glass, wrote rude words in the steam. But wipe once, breathe twice, look again. The eyes staring back hold 1,000 sunrises you forgot to count. That face has fed people, even on days it went hungry. Proof is a tired sport. Let's retire from it. Instead, practice recognition. Recognition sounds like, that was kind of me. I tried again. I didn't snap. I asked for help. I rested. I told the truth. I sang anyway. Each recognition is a breadcrumb leading you home. Home is not a house. It's a way of sitting inside your own name without asking permission. From there, decisions come easier and budgets behave better. Some folks will only see your winter. That's all right. Their eyesight is seasonal. Others will see the way you kept your flame cupped in a shaking hand. Those are your people. Keep them. Sit with them. Let their sentences repaint your interior walls. Not with slogans, but with steady verbs. You stayed. You grew. You learned. You softened. You're here. The room brightens on verbs like those. The mirror does too. Coming home to yourself is the wealth no winter can take. Homecoming begins with a chair that fits your back and a breath that fits your chest. Sit. Notice the difference between loneliness and solitude. Scarcity confuses them. Solitude heals because it returns you to your own company and reminds you you're decent to be around. From there, small rituals reappear. The mug you prefer, the song you hum while waiting, the way you fold a towel so it looks like care. These are not luxuries, they are stitches. Coming home isn't a single dramatic arrival. It's a series of ordinary re-entries. You return to your values at the grocery aisle, to your boundaries at midnight, to your humor at the sink. You choose gentler words for yourself, not as indulgence but as fuel. You build a daily table where shame isn't invited, but accountability is. The 5 of Pentacles smiles here. The snow melts. You didn't just survive winter. You learned how to host spring. In time, generosity returns. Not the kind that empties you, the kind that multiplies you. You give from overflow, not obligation. You share because you want your table to sound like laughter, not because you're purchasing affection. A strange thing happens then. Money behaves better around people who respect themselves. Opportunities prefer houses where gratitude and boundaries both live. Call it energy, call it psychology. Either way, your life begins to match your home. Your feet remember warmth. Your shoulders remember not flinching. Your hands remember building. The door that opened earlier. It turns out to be both an entrance and a mirror. Each time you walk through, you see a little more of yourself coming back from the cold. This is wealth winter cannot tax: self-knowledge, self-tenderness, self-trust. With these, you can cross many weathers and still arrive intact. Now that the snow has thinned and your breath remembers its own rhythm, something sharper moves in the distance. Not cruel, clarifying. The room is warmer, yes, but a crossroads sign has been hammered into the earth just outside your window. 2 arrows, 2 paths, and that old blindfold you once called protection sitting in your lap like an outdated map. In a heartbeat, we'll step to the doorway of the 2 of Swords, the moment where your pulse, not the crowd, chooses the road. Stay near. The X that marks your spot is closer than it looks. Card 2, 2 of Swords. The map is noisy, but the X appears only when your breath gets quiet. There is counsel everywhere: relatives with proverbs, screens with certainty, memories with megaphones. The crossroads loves a chorus, but the 2 of Swords invites a different instrument: your breath. Notice how, on the exhale, the room grows slightly kinder. Notice how, on the inhale, your chest votes for life again. Between those 2, a small light flickers on the exact word you need next. Not a whole speech, just the next word. Enough to turn your foot. Noise tries to auction your future to the highest urgency. Decide now or lose everything, it shouts with dramatic eyebrows. But decisions made in alarms often create new emergencies. Quiet doesn't mean delay, it means dignity. It means letting the water still so the coin at the bottom becomes visible. You are not being asked for brilliance, you're being asked for honesty. Often, the honest step is smaller and kinder than pride allows. Practice the ritual of the chair. Sit. Name both paths aloud, even if your voice creaks. Listen to your body's immediate flinch or softening. The spine tells truths the mouth avoids. One path might look shiny and feel sour. The other may look plain and feel like bread. Choose bread. The X does not mark glamour, it marks groundedness. And groundedness gets you home with ankles unbroken. Not choosing has been a choice. Now choose the path that chooses you back. Indecision pretends to be neutral. It isn't. It allies with drift, with other people's plans, with the slow erosion of your original shape. The 2 of Swords calls this bluff with a smile. Refusing to pick is itself a pick. It picks delay, regret's cousin. There's forgiveness for that. We all do it. But there's also a moment, maybe this one, where your life clears its throat, and you answer with a nod. The path that chooses you back feels strangely familiar, like a room you've never entered that still smells like your grandmother's soap. It won't flatter you, it will fit you. What fits asks for effort, yes, but it does not require distortion. Your laugh still sounds like yours on that road. Your boundaries still close properly. Your quiet does not get evicted. These are signs worth more than fireworks. Try this simple test. Imagine saying yes, and watch how your day arranges itself in your mind's hallway. If the furniture slides easily, you may be near your door. Imagine saying no, and notice whether your shoulders untie. The body keeps very tidy records. Trust its filing system more than the gallery of spectators. They will not pay your bills, mend your heart, or hold your dawns. You will. Logic draws lines. Your inner tide draws the shoreline you can finally walk. Reason is a loyal friend and a terrible dictator. It sketches spreadsheets, compares reviews, lights exit signs. Good, keep it. But the Two of Swords reminds us that a map without a tide is a museum. Your life is not a display, it is weather and appetite and prayer. The inner tide is not chaos. It is the tug that aligns effort with meaning. Follow that tug, and blisters become badges instead of bruises. You have walked shorelines before, seasons where everything you did felt frictionless, like good shoes on level ground. That wasn't luck, it was alignment. You didn't force the sea to behave, you changed the hour you walked it. Timing is wisdom dressed as patience. The right choice at the wrong hour spoils. Let the tide teach you which hour is yours. Watch for the seabirds in your chest. They circle where nourishment is near. This isn't permission to ignore facts, it's permission to include them without worshipping them. The fact may say salary, the tide may say sanity, the fact may say impressive, the tide may say intimate, the fact may say later, the tide may say now. Living well means letting numbers and nudges sit at the same table, then letting peace cast the deciding vote. Peace speaks quietly but doesn't stutter. Remove the blindfold. It was never protection, only delay dressed as safety. We tie the cloth ourselves most days. We call it waiting for a sign, being realistic, not making waves. The cloth keeps light out and responsibility away, but it also keeps out the sight of the exact keyhole that matches your key. The Two of Swords invites you to untie slowly, kindly, squint into new light. Let the room come into focus like an old photograph rescued from a drawer. Protection is lovely, avoidance is costly. Protection says, I'm resting my eyes for a moment. Avoidance says, I'm pretending the room disappears when I can't see it. You deserve rest. You also deserve a future not held hostage by your own bandana. Removing the blindfold doesn't mean sprinting. It means reading the labels on the doors you keep bumping into. It means less bruising, more choosing. Under the cloth, your hearing sharpened. That's useful now. You can hear which doorknobs rattle with welcome and which hum with warning. You can hear the difference between applause and alignment, between urgency and importance, between someone wanting your labor and someone wanting you. Sight plus sound, that's discernment. That's adulthood with a heartbeat. The spot is marked in your chest. Say yes where your pulse answers. We searched everywhere. Oracles, podcasts, group chats, cupboards, and the X was under your shirt the whole time. Place your hand there. Feel the drummer you didn't hire keep perfect time. Your pulse doesn't explain itself. It announces truth without footnotes. The Two of Swords asks you to let that announcement carry legal weight in your next decision. You are not silly for trusting it. You are seasoned. Practically, this means your yes will be smaller and sooner than the world recommends. You'll email one person instead of launching a campaign. You'll move 10 minutes earlier to bed instead of buying a new philosophy. You'll choose the job that lets you see sunsets instead of the one that salutes your LinkedIn. Small and soon beats big, and never. Your pulse knows this. It has kept you alive one beat at a time, not in press releases. There will be a moment after you say yes, where silence echoes and doubt auditions. Let it audition, do not hire it. Watch how life rearranges around a sincere decision. Coincidences behave like cousins. Strangers use sentences that sound like your journal. This is not superstition. This is attention blessed by action. The way opens because you opened. The X glows because you looked. Card 3, 8 of Swords. The cage wasn't steel. It was a story said too many times to yourself. Repetition is a powerful sculptor. Say "I can't" enough times, and the room rearranges to agree. The Eight of Swords doesn't shame you for the story. It shows you the author's signature at the bottom, yours, and smiles. If you wrote it, you can revise it. Not by pretending the plot never hurt, but by adding chapters where your voice grows teeth and tenderness at once. The bar that bites is made of yesterday's sentences. Trace the origin of the phrase that holds you. Who first said it? A hurried teacher? A scared parent? An old version of you doing their best with broken tools? Thank them for surviving. Then retire them from the writing staff. The current you has data they never had. Proof of mornings survived, conversations handled, skills learned after 40, laughter found in ruins. Use current data for current drafts. The plot improves. Language changes posture. I am trapped relaxes into I feel trapped, then shifts to I notice a trap, then grows into I move around it. Each sentence loosens a knot at your ankles. The world doesn't flip like a coin, it tilts. Tilt is enough to roll a marble toward a doorway. That marble is your day. Let one roll, then another. There. Space. One true thought can loosen knots 10 fears could never hold. Fear multiplies by fog. Truth multiplies by focus. You don't need 100 affirmations. You need one accurate sentence spoken like a bell. Something like, I am allowed to learn in public, or I am safe while I decide, or I keep promises to myself now. The body leans toward sentences like these the way plants lean toward windows. The Eight of Swords claps softly. You found the window. A true thought isn't always sweet. Sometimes it's spicy. This job eats my soul. This habit steals my mornings. This relationship needs boundaries or a door. Spicy truth burns off the ropes that polite avoidance never weakens. You do not have to shout it. You just have to say it clearly enough for your feet to hear. Feet love clarity. They move toward it like children run toward music. Practice choosing between a fear and a fact. Fear says, everyone will laugh. Fact says, 3 people may misunderstand. The rest are busy eating lunch. Fear says, it's too late. Fact says, it's later than before, earlier than never. Facts are often unglamorous, but they hold. They hold long enough for the knot to sigh and let go. Hands untie faster when the heart stops arguing with its own light. Self-suspicion wastes hours. You do something kind, then cross-examine the motive until the glow goes grey. The Eight of Swords invites a gentler courtroom. Assume the light in you is real, then act like it. You will still make human mistakes. Light doesn't remove shadow. It gives it contour. But a heart that grants itself goodwill works twice as deftly. Knots seem to sense kindness and relax into it. Try making a list of abilities you didn't have 10 years ago. Not bragging, just inventory. You'll meet a sturdier artisan than you remember. Someone who can hold tension longer, apologize quicker, mend cheaper, say no warmer. That person is qualified to handle today's ropes. Let them. Confidence is simply memory that remembers the whole file, not just the typos. When shame becomes the foreman, hands fumble. Replace the foreman with curiosity. Ask, what loop loosens which knot? And your fingers will learn the map. Muscle memory builds. Tomorrow's rope recognizes today's method. This is how freedom becomes a craft, not a miracle. Crafted freedom lasts. You can teach it to others. Teaching is proof you have it. Walking out won't be loud. It will sound like your name said kindly. Escapes in films come with alarms. Escapes in real life often sound like slippers on wood floors at 6 a.m. quiet departures, gentle doors. The Eight of Swords suggests your exit from the old cage will be this sort. No fireworks, just a calendar crossed, a subscription cancelled, a conversation scheduled before lunch. You'll realize halfway down the block that you're free and smile with your whole back. Kindness is not weakness, it is weight-bearing. Speak to yourself the way you would to a friend packing a suitcase after a hard season. Take your time, fold the shirts, leave the socks you hate. Here's water. Lock the door behind you. Breathe on the landing. You are the friend and the leaver. Both deserve gentleness. The stairs creak like applause. There may be grief on the threshold. Honor it. Even cages had routines, and routines can feel like home. Place a hand on the doorframe. Bless what kept you alive even while it kept you small, and step. The hallway is not empty. It is available. Light looks different outside bars. It lands on your face like news. Look at the arc you just walked. From cold porch to warm threshold, from crossroads to chosen road, from bars to hallway light. The Five of Pentacles taught you to call winter by its true name, and still find doors. The Two of Swords returned you to the X inside your chest. The Eight of Swords placed the key where it always was, in your hand. Tonight, let this become more than comfort. Let it be instruction. One soft yes, one honest choice, one gentle turn of the lock. That's how a marked soul moves. Quietly and unmistakably into its life.